The last battle ended too quickly, screwed up too much. I get to refight it. This is Gabiene. It's essentially the same battle. There's a few little differences. There's a few less troops on the board for both sides. You can kind of see they're a little bit more coherently placed in terms of like the Antigonus. We're on different sides now, but the Antigonus side, the blues, are kind of in one nice coherent line, and the Yumenis are also in one, but we've got the elephants trailing down here. Let's talk about disposition. We got a line of skirmishers and elephants on both sides sitting in the front, reserve elephants over here. He's got a lot more elephants. Then we've got in the centers the mainline heavy infantry, and on the flanks we got the cav in both cases. Now, we got light cav pretty much facing light cav over here, and heavier cav facing heavier cav here. There is a bit of a problem though. We got lancers mixed in. Now let's see. So for Antigonus, he's got lancers and heavy cav mixed together here, and light cav for that matter. But his heavies are all over there. The lancers and light cav can operate together. The heavies are their own line. Likewise over here, but we only have like one lancer kicking off on the side. Some slaves. I don't know about slave soldiers, but whereas over here we have a mixture of light cav with a little bit of heavy cav just to screw up any chance of like coordinating that properly. We don't have the stupid contingent commanders, especially the missing one that doesn't have any setup or anything, which was disturbing. Let me see over here. Here we got lancers and light cavs only. I don't think there's a heavy under there. And they're mixed, you know, you got a couple archers, but mainly the light cav are javelin throwers. All right. The rules for this one, there are a few. Uh-oh. Do we have that contingent commander in here? No. Okay. Good enough. All right. Nicanor and Hippostratus can only command infantry. And there would be Hippostratus and Nicanor are there. We're in a little bit better shape now in terms of figuring out what's going on. Nearchus can only command infantry and elephants. I bet you he's up in the front here. Antigonus and Nearchus can issue line commands to a 3-space elephant skirmisher line. I don't know if it was last time. They talk about 3-space elephant skirmisher lines, but that's actually 3 vacant spaces. Yeah, it was the same in the last one. I thought it was 2 vacant spaces between. That's a big deal here because we can see there's less units on the board, so there's a little bit more space in those lines. Anything else here? Okay. For the Eumenes, we have Antigonus and Tudimus can only command infantry and elephants. Antigonus and Tudimus. Eumenes and Eudemus is up here on the side, Eumenes is over here, are able to give the line commands to the 3-space elephant skirmisher lines. A little bit less confusion about all the different command restrictions. This is just a much, much more pleasant thing. This would have been the better one to start with, but it's okay, because the trial by fire means I screwed up one that I probably would have screwed up anyway, and I probably would have screwed up whichever one I did first anyway. Elephant line command ranges. The 4 guys who can do line commands to the elephants can go out at 3 ranges instead of the normal 2 ranges for a line command. The elephant screens, SK archers, not just screens, So this is kind of poorly worded, and I bet it's the same in the other one. Not just screens that can use reaction fire only. The comma there, to me, separates the clause. Screens that can use reaction fire only is the clausal. And the rest of it explains it, and it seems to be the case. We got the single hex phalanx units as before, which, again, Hepastes and silver shields can't. They don't have the double hex bonus stay ability, but they're damn good units, so they may not need it. Okay, the Pucistasis antigenous agamum unit. It's going to be a heavy cav kicking around here. This one has special rules, and I should put something on it to remind me that it has special rules, because I will never remember. It decided to leave the field when the heavy cav closed with it. The first time that an Antigonid heavy or lancer comes within 2 hexes of it, it makes a TQ check with +3. If it passes, it's fine for the rest of the game. If it fails, it routes and cannot be rallied. If it routes, all friendly cav units within 5 hexes of it make a TQ check, adding 3 to their die roll. Any unit that fails that will rout and cannot rally. This unit must be adjacent to at least 2 other friendly cav units at the conclusion of each move until it makes its check. They didn't want to put just a programmed rule in to force it to rout for a couple of reasons. It's an interesting point in the battle that may or may not happen, and also, you could shield it, and not have it cause the issue. But, it's a fairly it's a quality unit, so +3 check, it's got less than a 50-50 chance of surviving. No, it's got a 50-50 chance of surviving, so, it's interesting. One more rule. They call it Pyrrhic Victory, but I'm not sure I get it. If Antigonus can exit 20 size points of cav off the south edge of the map, the Eumenides player receives 40 route points played against his withdrawal level. Cav units that exit for this purpose can't re-enter the map, but they also don't count against Antigonus's withdrawal level. Good place to throw injured units. And I'm guessing this is the southern edge, and that's the northern edge. There's a compass rose that we're supposed to set up for it, but whatever. Indeed. Okay. What else do we have here? Route points. Antigonus routes at 100. Eumenides routes at only 40. So you got to stop Antigonus from just skirting around you. As Eumenides, you actually have more units, it looks like. Definitely more elephants. But also a fairly solid line, so I don't know why his route points suck. Total size points isn't very much. Total units, yeah, Eumenides has more forces, so I don't know why the weak route level, but should be interesting. One of the nice things about me giving up on life and all is I can still game. Maybe more. I went through a bunch of angst today, but this is where I ended up. So, I had some difficulties with my camera, so you might hear something weird, or this might all be for naught. Who knows? Initiative went again over to the Eumenides side. This game is a little different than the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't quite get my... they're speed 7. I can't quite get my elephant line to the enemy's line, so I can't get that first strike thing that was the obvious meaning. Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was a first move thing. Take a quick look. maybe, yeah, just barely. 7 hexes apart. This time they're like 8 apart, and that's going to change the whole world because I can't just make that run. So that means that Antigones is the default leader who's going to go. I don't know what the hell he can do. Got to look everything up. In this, Antigones can only command infantry and elephants, and he is not one who can give the line command to the elephants. So, whatever that means. He's not commanding a lot of units. That's one thing that it means. Yeah, I don't know what the hell to do with him back there. No, I was wrong. These are the only ones who can give it to a 3-space elephant skirmisher line. Maybe it's the same situation as last time. I'm not sure. This is the problem because the way they word things. Antigones and Tudamus are the only ones can only command infantry elephants. Only Eumenes and Antigones can give the line command to the 3-space elephant. So, I don't know what that means. Like, is it the 3-space thing that's at issue here? Or is it the elephant line that's issue? I don't know. In the last one, he was able to do that. In this one, he's not. And, because there's no comma or anything, it's hard to process. Only Eumenes and Eudemus can issue a line command to a 3-space elephant skirmisher line. I mean, if it didn't say 3-space, but if it's 2-space, well, if it's normal, maybe I can do this, but maybe I can't do it to an elephant skirmisher line. Maybe that's the issue here, which are specialized here. Yeah, so I would be able to do an elephant line, but there isn't one. There is back here, but yeah. Okay. What I did was I slid him down the line, moved some of these elephants that I don't like what they're up to over so that I can try to get that extra weight against his cav, and got a continuation, and then got a die roll of doom, which actually resulted in a 0, which would allow other guy, a guy, I'm never going to remember people's names in this, I don't know. I don't have somebody, Antigonus. I don't, yeah, because this is Antigones. I don't, basically almost the same name. I don't have, you know, like an Alexander to just remember. I should be able to remember Antigonus because he is the leader of, you know, of note throughout this, but it doesn't help that I just moved somebody with his, almost his same name. If a unit had already moved over on the Antigonus side, I would be able to move that again, that leader again. But I don't want to do this because I have no chance of momentum if I use one of my leaders. And maybe it even only applies to somebody who's moved already. So that throws us over to the 1-3 on his side, who I have to look up. And that's Nietzsche. Nietzsche can command only infantry and elephants, and he is the guy who can do the line command to that elephant line. And remember, it's 3 intervening spaces, not 3 spaces, so I could throw my whole line forward. I guess I want to. The problem is I do that and I give him the initiative with his elephants. I don't do that, and I give him more time to bring these elephants around. This side of the battle, there's some rough terrain. I don't particularly want to go through that. But if I can get Cav off the board over here, I get a whole big bunch of points. So I think what I'm going to do is try to slice this way. That puts me right up against those elephants I didn't want to bring into play, but that's what my plan is. Let's be super weird. I'm actually sliding them down across the side, not moving forward at all, just trying to get that positioning where the elephant clash, the idea being to clear out the enemy elephants so that my cav on this flank can make their way through. And kind of holding back with everything else. Now, because my elephants have already gone, these elephants could move forward. Because I kept the distance, they're not going to be able to actually hit. But I could hit the skirmishers for what that's worth and clear that little bit of annoyance, because for whatever reason I threw my skirmishers out front, mainly so they wouldn't get in the way of the elephants, I guess. But that's still part of a mixed line, as long as I keep 3 hexes in between as I read it. So now we're going over to a 4, and we got a couple of 4s here, and that's it. And we pretty much slice across and engage at those more exposed skirmishers. We didn't want to push our elephants a little further to actually hit them. We're just trading missile fire and you know, getting kind of the advantage because we have a thicker line, and also we can, you know, combine against specific ones. I don't know how much of an advantage that gives because I didn't rout anyone. But yeah, they're weakened, and I don't know quite what to do about them because they're not that big a threat, and I'd rather not hit them. I'd rather hit the elephants with the first strike, and now I've weakened my elephant line by pushing forward. It comes down to a crapshoot next turn. Who gets the elephant charge? A kind of weird crapshoot, because remember, only on the first turn do you get that automatic line command. So we'd have to roll for a line command, and this guy's rolling at a 3, he's rolling at a 4. It's fairly likely neither one's going to get that full line attack going. The game doesn't do, as far as I know anywhere, is define what is meant by can only command infantry. I've been allowing that to include skirmishers. Basically, it means you can't command horses, you can't command chariots, you can't command elephants. But yeah, you can command skirmishers. I'm not sure if that's the intention or not, but that's what I'm going to be going with, because they don't define it. You know, yes, there's like light infantry and heavy infantry, but there's peltists. What do they count as? They're sort of somewhere, and there's skirmishers with shock capability, which are kind of light infantry, and it's just like, I don't know what you do. And so they're using a term, and the only thing I can do is say guys with feet, you know. That puts me in a troubling position. I'm looking over here. I got 2 guys who can only command the infantry line. I think what they're going to do, they're not going to issue a line command, because there's too much space to do one without the elephants, and they can't do that. I think what they're going to do is activate some skirmishers to fight. Well, see, those skirmishers have moved again already. They'll get fatigued if they take another shot. Yeah, I might do some recovery. No, can't do recovery. I'm within bow fire range. I mean, I really don't want to move my Phalanx forward, right? we saw that did not like being in a position where it's dealing with the elephants. So I kind of have to trim that elephant line down. So I'm kind of leaning towards pass. Because the elephants, Yemeni's elephants have grabbed the center of the field. I don't have a lot of room to maneuver because they charged forward. And so I push the heavy infantry line forward on the Yemeni's side. And that puts me on the other 4 here. I think I'm in the same position where I don't know what I want to do. Don't have a good answer. And that gives me my cav here, which I'm not sure what it's going to do. Looks to me, this is light cav, facing light cav. Looks like I want to position myself. I've got some lancers that can charge. I can do them as mixed line, if I recall correctly. Lancers and light cav. So, yeah, I mean, I guess try to set myself up and not get too close. I don't mind those elephants being out there. They're kind of safe. Yes, they can get hit from the flank, but even that's not terribly happy for the cav to do. And the line was a little broken by this, and remember, cav lines work a little differently, so I couldn't push the whole line forward, didn't get a continuation, and that puts me on a 5 if they have one up here, because I'm out of 4s. And we do over there. Who the hell is that? Demetrius. Anything special about him? Hey, he looks like he can do whatever he likes. And he's got line command capability. I guess he'll be commanding some cav, huh? I don't know. Got some elephants, but they've already moved. Don't know. Going kind of cold on that, trying to slip around away from the elephants, because that's going to take me away from the battle. And yeah, those 40 points would be real sweet, but I don't know about it. It just doesn't feel, it feels like I should cut across and try to hit, try to get myself behind the line here. Which means this sliding of the elephants was probably a mistake, but I don't know. Hard to tell. And the restrictions on, I didn't pay enough attention to the cav charge formations. I'm okay, because I have a whole bunch of command points over on this side, but I'm not sure if I cheated before. They can't use missile fire. Most of them don't have that. Maybe the Thracians do. They can't use line command mobility. I don't know what the fuck that is. They may not change facing more than one vertex anyone hacks. Cost them 2 to change facing. I knew about those. They can't enter rough. Yeah, didn't do that. They can't change elevation more than once. Any terrain out cohesion costs are doubled. Not an issue. But they can't use orderly withdrawal. That's a big deal. That means I can't get anywhere near those elephants if I'm in charge formation. And those elephants are doing a hell of a job of protecting the Yemeni cav. There's sort of a gap there, and I'm thinking, oh, I could slip in there and maybe get first charge. But if I put my cav in front, I've got kind of a problem. And I think I'm gonna pass. It's like a big game of chicken here. It really is. It costs 4 movement points to put charge formation up, which is an issue. So if he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not gonna be within range that I could set up a charge. I don't want to be in front of my elephant line, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I'm in front of it, I'm hittable. I mean, maybe not over here, but then I'm kind of exposed to those guys and whatever. And I don't want to be right up against them, and so pass, yeah. All right. So that was his 5. Do I have anyone else? I think the next are the 6s, and that throws me over to Yemenis, and I don't know what he wants to do. This is kind of the thing. The last scenario threw me right into conflict right away. This is more like I'm used to for GBOH, which is you got to turn to kind of close. Who's gonna win that chicken fight, you know? And here we saw, well, Yemenis lost initiative, therefore he got to kind of win the fight and push forward. And we don't know what's going to happen, because it's going to come down, well, no, it's not going to come down to a crapshoot. It's going to come down to maybe me trumping, but probably not. I'll probably just face that commander because he's just a 3. Although, if Antigonus moves forward, he can just issue that line command to the elephants and launch the charge, for what that's worth, which I don't know what that is. I was more clever than I usually am, or stupid or something. I was trickier, different. Moved my cav forward, put it in charge formation. Eumenes has a good chance of getting a momentum. I pushed him here so he can command these two and allow them to give line commands without having to roll. That's a big deal. I don't know why you'd want momentum on line command. Well, you can do some other stuff instead afterwards. But yeah, so I'm looking at being able to influence them so they get their bonus. And then on his turn, well, he won't be able to get the line command, but he's got a good command radius or a good command value. So if I want to move back to the cav and launch cav charges, I can. I'm not in a position to do so yet, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I could hit this skirmisher, I could hit the elephant, but I'm out of range of the elephants, and I'm trying to be really, yeah, it's weird because I'm counting hexes and doing all this kind of geometry type stuff that I really don't like to do in games, but, you know, counting hexes isn't that big an issue, but it really is. You know, this is the kind of thing when I look at like Africa Corps or something. Oh, can his unit reach there? Can he get a 2-to-1 odds on me? Whatever. And that really is, can he move that many hexes? And it's pretty much the same kind of shit here. It's just, I'm just outside of charge range is what I'm saying, which, yeah, you know, it kind of makes me want to play something with the Traveler. Not when they tried to make combat more complex, but Traveler combat for characters in the original game was like, you're at this range, you're at the, you know, it's just, you're at long range or medium range or short range or hand to hand. You just were at that range, you know. It was like a line set of positions that you could be in with your units. It didn't allow for any maneuvering or anything and was kind of goofy, but, you know, it handled firefights in, say, 80% of circumstances well enough. The problem was you would still, you know, if you have some kind of weird situation or if you're trying to do an ambush or something like that, you were going to end up with having to handle things a little differently. It actually feels like it makes more sense in something like this, like a battle board type situation where you put units at different ranges. You know, Sabin's game, I think, does something kind of like that. It doesn't really. It uses big squares and everything, but it feels that way. I'm like, you know, either adjacent or far enough away I can shoot, or farther away, and that's pretty much it. There aren't a lot of those squares, if I recall it correctly and have the name right. Encounters, my arm is tired from all of it at the end of the turn. Hi, turkeys. I wonder if they're in my yard. I don't look. I end up with a lot of, I mean, they sound like, yeah, there they all are. There's a whole bunch of them down there. Okay, I thought I heard them getting close. I haven't seen them in my yard for a while, so I don't know. I poured a lot of water on my hill. That's probably what attracted them. I haven't been throwing water out there, and my wife's not around to put a pan of water for them. So I got one on the porch for the squirrels, but I don't get to see the little animals that come up to the ones in the driveway. So, well, unless they're making that much noise. So anyway, yeah, I end up with a lot of time where I'm kind of contemplating the game as I'm going. So one thing I thought about was, well, when one side's being clever, the other side is probably also being clever in the same sort of way. So like, I did the same kind of thing over here. Not only did I do passes, which are kind of a clever thing to do that I don't usually consider. I'm more of a, well, I'm gonna go charge, you know. But I also set my units up so that they could get line commands automatically as well. So I don't feel like either side gets an advantage out of me being a little bit more aware than I usually am. And let's see, another one was, oh yeah, my silly little Antigonus decided to receive. And in a sense he did. He had the choice, but had he moved forward, he would have automatically given up the advantage of that first charge. He would have gained some more ground, which might make sense in this scenario with this attempt to try to get around. I don't remember what else I had to say except that I'm fatigued from all that counter flipping and have played enough in it for a while, and it's time for me to go look at my turkeys if they're still there. Well, red, Eumenes, has gotten the initiative, but or won the die roll or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily help. My 3 is over here. I have to face the 3 who can command the elephants before that. So I have to make a decision here as to whether I want to trump my own dude, because I can't trump him until his momentum. But I am allowed to trump my own leader, and it'll create the little, hey, trumped markers for everybody who's a 3, which is both of the leaders, so they won't get any momentum. The problem is it's a 50-50 shot. And I'm not sure whether or not I can do a line command if I trump in. I think I can. A hard choice. As far as I can tell, I can, but I mean, I skimmed briefly. So if I do the trump, I got a 50-50 chance of having that first strike. That's a minor advantage, getting that first strike in. But I have a numerical advantage on the line, and some of his elephants are over here where they can't really get at my elephants easily, can they? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Call it 5, 6, because I'm going to have to do another turn back here. 7. That can get me behind that skirmisher, but that's it. So I don't know if I'm going to be facing that ugly a situation. I get a lot of firepower. If I fail the trump, this guy's finished, and he won't get any command at all. If I succeed in the trump, my line, or if I don't take the trump, or if I fail, my line might be broken, though. There is a fair chance that something will have clumped through. And I gotta remember about elephant pass-through and pay attention to that. Ooh, I don't know. Gosh. Let's put it to a die roll. 1 or 2, I'm gonna try trump. Nah. All right. So we will use this guy. We're in this weird thing where I gotta decide whether or not he's allowed to try a line. I don't think he is. Remember, I had already said, well, he can't command the line command to the 3-space elephant skirmisher line, but again, I don't think the 3 spaces is an issue. I don't think the skirmishers being involved is an issue, because that's fine. I think he's just not allowed to issue a line command. The net effect of that was I got a momentum. All my units moved up, but then I got a die roll of doom, crisis of faith. 2 units ended up falling back, so I don't know. But that puts me over here. Because of the looseness of the elephant skirmisher line, we actually probably are going to have part of that line remain, but it's broken up, like there's an elephant here that's coming in a different direction. We got guys over here doing God knows what, trying to get a flanking attack on. So we got a lot of tactical quality checks, and not a whole lot, okay, but we're aiming at the Eumenes elephants rather than at their skirmishers, because I largely believe skirmishers are useless. Elephants are potent, especially at their price. Forgot to mention, I had a series of things I mentioned when I was flipping the counters, was the poochiness of the map. I forgot to throw some weights on this one. And, well, I paid the price. I accidentally dropped a die, and it caused more damage than it should have. I'm going to have to fix that. And here's what an elephant attack should have looked like in the last game, which is they push through and start creating some issues where they didn't succeed completely. We didn't get as heavy a result as we got from Eumenes' attack last time, largely because there's less elephants on the antagonist side. So he doesn't have quite as much oomph. He killed 3 skirmishers to 1, and a couple of elephants, although they're thicker ones, so they count more. No, to 1. Didn't have, the density of attacks. It was a big deal that Eumenes had his attacks going. The line is busted up all to hell. I'm going to have a hard time making any sense out of that. And now we are on the 4s. And, I really ought to be getting to bed. But my elephant line is not busted up. And I could launch an attack. The question is, what kind of attack do I want to do? What I think I'd like to do is whip around and hit their elephants where I can. So let me do that, and then I think we'll see where we're going. Do we have another 4 over here? Now this was a 3. Hold on. Yeah, so don't we have a 4 over here? We have one over there. Okay. And I forgot elephants cost 2 to change facing. And probably launch some attacks that would have had to been done a little differently. The hell with it. Again, it's just too easy to fuck something up in this game. Those elephant rolls make an elephant fight, like a cow fight, a chaotic mess. A little slower to turn, but we just have a muddled confusion here where Eumenes actually lost a lot of his elephants because they're beat up, and they moved out, turned around, in most cases taking just, 1 defensive fire, but that's 2 rolls, possibly 2 cohesion hits, slamming into the flanks, essentially, because there's the turn capability of the Antigonus elephants, and so far it's not looking too good. But let's see what happens, because now all the good stuff starts going. And the elephants have a remarkable capacity to just wipe each other out, along with the skirmishers that are mingled in. We got a confused mess, though, here with the elephants of... This one moved. This thing moved. I don't know why I didn't flip them. Yeah, a remarkable capacity to just blunder about against each other. Casualty-wise, well, this looks a lot bigger, but it's actually just a couple of elephants there. Skirmisher-wise, it's even. So they did a fairly even trade-off, even though Antigonus got the first blow in. So that seems about right. It's a little crazy, though, just watching this shit happen. And, we had, leader loss checks over here on Eumenes himself, where he got smacked a couple of times by an elephant and just rampaging around. But I think we're going to see a little bit more sanity on the battlefield as those begin to clear away. But then it just becomes the push of the phalanxes hitting each other, which is less exciting, and the flanks with the cav. There's not as much cav in these, and it's not as potent as what Alexander has. And certainly, it's very symmetrical armies. There is still a core of elephant left, though, so that's something to worry about. That can wreak some havoc on those cav. All right, that's it for tonight. Half the Antigonus front line, phalanx line, moved forward, and Jimenez just does an orderly withdrawal out of the way with what he can. I took one hit on an elephant that was approached from the rear. Everything else was skirmishers, really, and now my line is broken. There's a space in it, which isn't great, but I don't know what to do in these kind of circumstances. Do I advance? Do I pass? What is going on? So I'm gonna probably activate these guys, because this 4 here, I get to wait until those guys make their move if I hold off. The cav shifted into place here. I think I didn't get a continuation. Not sure I rolled for one. I don't really want to get closer to this cav. I don't want to have the cav engagement particularly, because that might allow these cav to get through and score the big hit for the getting behind the lines. And then the rest of the Phalanx moved forward, and I actually pulled one of the skirmishers out of the line. Is it worth it? Will he get so hurt? It might be worth another continuation check. Again, Die Roll of Doom could cause problems, but let's do another one with him. I didn't try. Well, he failed anyway, which means we'll be over here. I kind of want to be closer to this side, I think. Moves his big, because I'm close to Jimenez in that case, who's going to be commanding these. Pushes his double-sized units forward. I could have brought these forward too, and that probably would have been wise, but I didn't really think about it. Because he had a single line command. And scares away, and also in momentum movements, pulls his skirmishers and elephants out of the way, basically getting all the crop, at least that he controls, out of the way between the two big lines. I mean, I don't know. When you grind up in the back of an elephant and send it rampaging, it's bad for everybody involved. This skirmisher here, this stuff is breaking up the Antigonine line, so it looks like it's a problem more for them than for me, but whatever. Anyway, got my crap out of the way at no real cost, and moving forward in better formation than the enemy. Now, is there a 4 left on this side? There is not, and I think we're on the 5s at this point. Always such a pain to hunt everything down. So yeah, we got 2 5s over here. And I don't think I have any 5s over on the Jimenez side. Rooks on the corner. I mean, they really are. There are a couple of elephants sitting out here that are causing me problem with bringing my cavalry forward to try to harass the flank over here. I mean, I can charge right into the front of a Phalanx. That doesn't sound like a good idea. It better not be. And otherwise, I think I'm too far away to do anything. Now, I can try to hit those elephants from behind, but then that exposes my cav to the side of those elephants, and that doesn't seem like a great idea either. I can get close and do some archery fire. That might be my best move at this point. Try to soften this line. I mean, it's light cav, so yeah, maybe. Forces are making things, the last battle, beyond whatever I screwed up, was so close in terms of the distance between things that, hey, look, I can get my charge in, This one has a little bit of room to maneuver, and therefore there's a lot of room for me to be like, I'm not really sure I want to move forward type of stuff. And we're seeing a lot of that. So, like, yes, I did push this cav forward. I'm not sure that was wise, but these guys are really being hesitant. There's a strong elephant line coming in our direction, and there's heavy cav in position. So I'm trying to set myself up so that I can't be charged too heavily. But I do have to protect the flank of these phalanxes. So, you know, I had to do something somewhere, somehow, to cope with things. And I have no fucking clue what I'm going to do with Antigonus here. He may go around and try to heal people or something, and try to position himself where he can give out line commands, because there really isn't a whole lot for him. He's got some elephants there. But, again, do I actually want to move them? I don't know. We're going to see how the elite Silver Shields and Hephaestus hold up, and forgive any pronunciation, against the Phalanx. I've got them outnumbered, and I'm just smashing into them hard, figuring if I can break this flank. Yes, there's Cav waiting there to do me some ill, but I don't think I can, though. I honestly think those double-sized units are probably stronger than... it's hard to tell. They have that special saving throw, which makes them potent. Just because I don't want to roll dice yet. I did the TQ checks, but yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to, but I had a couple of mishaps so far with the rules catching on the map or whatever and pulling. This removable sticky tape, I'm not that impressed with that. I thought it would work better because tape is pretty good, but I'm beginning to lean more towards using my buddy's Clippy to hold things together. I feel like I have a little bit more resilience to bumping and I use that. This is not much better than nothing. Multiple rounds of push here. He basically got his full 2 momentums. So he got to hit this one 3 times, this one twice. And they don't budge. I'm accumulating hits on my wonderful little high tactical quality units. Now, I'll give you this much. Those high tactical quality units, as long as I got a bunch of them there, there's a good chance that they'll only get to within 1 of their hits, and then they'll recover anyway. But these guys get basically 2 recoveries so far. Because they get the first roll, which, you know, is probably going to be their tactical quality, so they just have to roll their tactical quality or better, and then it drops down to within 1 of it. Now, that means they have to succeed again, or they might rout anyway. And if they do rout anyway, they get yet another save. But it's just like, they're pretty damn resilient with that 7 quality. Granted, these guys are pretty potent too, but if I manage to get them from 7 to 9 with a single hit, which might be possible, you know, I could get a schwack in there, or I could do some archery and then hit them or whatever. If I can get them up in their TQ, you know, if I can get them to hit hard on the TQ, I can get rid of them. They don't get any chance to survive. No matter what, these things get a saving throw against any destruction. So, and I'm not quite sure why. It's just this idea that it's so big a formation that, you know, you can't break it or something. I have no idea. I'm not sure I agree. But anyway, that is the game. And we got one more action, and I don't know what Antigonus is going to do. I kind of want to, like, I want to get this done, get it loaded up, because I think I'm going to end this vid after this one, but then, you know, and do all the cleanup and everything. But I don't want to have to make the damn decision. I don't like making decisions in anything, especially real life, but it's even hard for me in games. Antigonus just ran around the backside, rallying units, and got a lot of my skirmishers happier. That's really about it. I did a better job, I think, of rallying the more compact and better organized army right now. Eumenes' army makes more sense, but Antigonus didn't have anything better to do, so, you know, expending all the effort running back and forth. He could have launched a push or something, but I'm not sure I want to. You know, I'm facing better stuff. Why? You know. There's maybe a why, which is that this flank is semi-exposed, but not very. Now with the fighting starting in earnest, you know, I mean, big units are actually clashing, right? But the losses approximately equal, 16 versus 14. Of course, Antigonus has a little bit more breathing room, but it feels to me like Eumenes' army is better organized. However, there is one big defect I noticed. I don't have a commander assigned over here. I moved Antigonus back here to get the elephants moving up. I've got a shortage of command. Yes, Eumenes could go over and deal with something or command it, but I kind of needed him for this while I used Eudemus. Well, actually, I've got like multiple leaders up here, so I may have too much density here and need to get somebody back there. But what it means is this cav line that I was kind of looking forward to, or kind of frightened by, is actually a lot less valuable than I thought. It also has the dangerous unit in it, which I threw something under to remind me of. And this one's going up. Probably play at least a little bit of the next turn tonight. But for the most part, you know, another day wasted, right? I mean, I get my work done and fuck around with my flash game. I'm down to 1 now. At least there's that. And watch videos and didn't even read or get drunk or anything. Didn't go for a walk and sure the hell didn't get anything done. There's reasons. I looked at you know, the evidence thing, and I was going to call about that. And I'm like, well, it's raining. I can't bring it home. I can't bring home stuff in a backpack when it's raining. And other stuff, I don't know. You know, I've got this vain hope. I contacted a third lawyer, same way. Same type of website, takes email, allows you to leave the phone number off, and no response. I might actually try calling those guys, though. That was my initial intention until I noticed, oh, hey, you've got a web form, too. You know, so far, web form has gotten me nothing except for the one from Salem. Anyway, and obviously, nothing in the world about trying to deal with my mom. I mean, I'm just like blanking that out. And did some yard work a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, I don't know. And my ankle hurts again. It's just like, fuck it, you know. For you guys, I'm sure it's great. You get to see more videos on the games than you would see if I was getting shit done. And less of my whiny shit about, you know, Jesus, I can't get anything done when I'm actually managing to do more than I have at any other point in my life in the last few years, but whatever.